wanted to do my own unique spin on the build your own warband tag. As I was building my warband, I kept thinking about sci-fi characters and had to split myself from that to make sure they were exclusively fantasy characters. So I kind of did my own version of it. I'm sure this has been done before, but if not, this is my build your own Fireteam video. Essentially the same thing as the warband, where I'm going to be building we'll have my ship and my crew, and my crew is going to consist of only science fiction characters in the sci-fi books that I have read. This includes sci-fantasy. So let's jump right into it. I did want to tag some other fellow booktubers and nerd tubers out there that might enjoy this tag. I'm going to tag Kyle from Read by Kyle. I'm going to tag Jordan from Reads with Jordan. And of course Joanna, because she's the one that got me into the warband tag. So now I kind of want to see what her fire team would look like. So we got to name the ship, right? So I picked the Halcyon for my interstellar craft to be piloting or be piloted by and transporting this motley crew of sci-fi characters for my fire team. And the captain of the Halcyon would be Mustang from the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. There is no other character I could think of that could top this woman's tactics or knowledge and experience on the field, both on the battlefield and behind the planning room at the table. She's also a diplomat, totally capable of handling politics and political situations. And she's also fierce as F. And this is the character I would want at the helm, leading my crew to whatever antics and mischiefs we get into. If you're not familiar with the Red Rising series, check it out. Mustang is one of the coolest characters in sci-fi and one of the smartest women in that entire series. And I think that it's kind of like almost cheap to have her as the captain. It almost feels like OP right out the gate, but I don't care. I can't think of any other person I'd want to captain my ship than Virginia. And of course, with every great captain, you had to have a great pilot. Originally, I was going to say Alex Kamal from the Expand series. I've only read Leviathan Wakes, and it was a long time ago, and I watched most of the show. I love Alex's character, and he's super wisecracky and a really good pilot, but really down on himself too. And I feel like the banter between Mustang and him could have been really great. I think they could have actually helped each other too, but kind of complement each other a little bit. I haven't read enough Expanse to know what happens with this character, so I kind of defaulted to one of my favorite captains from the Shadow of the Empire novel and the game, Dash Rendar. This is a Star Wars novel. Dash Rendar is like the Chuck Norris of the Star Wars world. He's like Han Solo and Chuck Norris smashed together. And what him and his ship, the Outrider, get into in the game and in the books is just out of this world. Totally silly sci-fi antics, but there's no one I can think of that would pilot the ship better. I have a sneaking suspicion that the Halcyon's going to get into pretty sticky situations, and there's no one I can trust better to pull us out of those wasp nests other than Dash Rendar. I'll put some art of him up here. I actually have an Outrider model that a friend of mine got for my birthday a few years back, and I cherish it greatly. So Mitch, if you're watching this, that one's for you. The Councilor. This is the character that we're going to send in to do a lot of the politics and scheming, but as well as make negotiations and planning too. And of course, only person I can think of for this one was Palamity Sextus from the Locked Tomb series by Temsin Muir. This is one of my all-time favorite characters in fiction, and not only is this character incredibly intelligent and powerful with his necromancy abilities, but he generally uses them for, I don't want to say for good, because it is that, but he's also really capable of working with others when he finds them to be either an intellectual equal or just their causes line up. And I feel like Mustang and Palamides would work really well together, and they actually would challenge each other. It might be a little similar to the Harrow and Palamides dynamic, and maybe that's why I'm thinking of it, but I'd love to have him behind the Councilor seat, making deals and working out tactics for us as we cruise through the galaxy on the Halcyon. Next, we have the Tech. I thought there are many characters that could fit this category, and I'm kind of picking an OP character to fill this role, but I feel like in the spirit of my last video when I did the kind of same thing with my warband, why not do it with my fire team? I want the best fire team, piloting the best ship in the galaxy, rivaled maybe only by the Millennium Falcon, and so I picked Valka from the Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio. This character is amazing. I love everything about this character. I think she is absolutely wonderful. She's one of the main reasons why I keep coming back for more with the Sun Eater, among many other reasons, but she's just a phenomenal character. She's funny and extremely witty and sassy, and I love that what Chris has done with this character. She is totally has her agency, still is focused on her career path and what she is passionate about. She is she's a xenologist. She studies alien cultures, both ancient and present. She knows many languages. She also has some upgrades to her body inside. Very, she's not really a cyborg, but she does have some implants, if you will, that allow her to do some pretty amazing things when it comes to sabotaging enemies' tech and hacking into systems and downloading and storing massive amounts of data, as well as being able to utilize them and scan them. Her character is just absolutely wonderful, and I feel like I would love to have her as a tech behind our ship. Not just for repairs. She's way better than that. We're going to send her in potentially as a diplomat, but maybe even a spy, but also someone who's able to bring down the curtain from behind our enemies' backs and tear down their safety, hack into their systems, and turn all their electronics against them. That is just one little bit of what makes Valka so amazing. I also think the banter between her and Mustang would be just like, I need fan fiction of that immediately. Number 5, we have a soldier. I was gonna pick Gideon Nav for this one because I love her dearly and she makes an excellent soldier. However, she's not super experienced with the battlefield or tactics, so I picked Fedman Kassad from the Hyperion Cantos by Dan Simmons. This is a character that knows all the guns and knows all the glory. He's not necessarily a pleasant character to be around, but I felt like he'd make an excellent grunt for the front lines anytime the Halcyon find itself down on the ground and not in space combat. Fedman is a character whom has extensive knowledge in warfare, as well as going through multiple scenarios, test scenarios for just different war tactics. Essentially relived modules where he fought in multiple battles throughout time. So not only is he a mastermind in warfare, but he's very knowledgeable from all the wars that have come to pass in the future. So I feel like he would be kind of omniscient and perfect for any scenario that the Halcyon might find itself in, especially if we find ourselves grounded, our wings getting clipped. He's the first man I want out front with all the guns. He's very much the kind of typical sci-fi grunt character, but I feel like if anybody can go toe-to-toe with a strike, they can go toe-to-toe with any of our enemies. Number 6 is Spy. This one was difficult because I've read a lot of sci-fi, and there's not a lot of spy characters that stand out to me that I'd want in my ship that left a lasting impression. However, there is one character, Elizabeth Beckwin, from the Warhammer 40k novels by Dan Abnett, whom I absolutely just cherish as a character. I think she is extremely compelling and unexpected. I thought when I got into the Eisenhorn novels that I was just going to be all about, Eisenhorn, he'd be my favorite character. And pretty early on, I was like, no, Beckwin is like the real GOAT. Like, she's the real MVP of this team. And then I got to her own standalone book called Pariah, also by Dan Abnett, and that's where a lot of her subterfuge and stealth and roguish activities took place. And in that book, it was more clandestine cloak and dagger stuff, where she was really undercover, double agent, costumes, just very Sherlock Holmes, but in like a sci-fi, dark, grimdark world. And Beckwin just shined in that novel, and I feel like would be the perfect character to send in. She's also able to get out of a lot of scraps and has lived a long, long time. She has lived many lifetimes without giving spoilers away for all the books, because they are really great. I highly recommend them. Beckwin has lived for a very long time. She's seen a lot of shit, and I feel like I would want that character to be my spy, to be sent in probably side by side with Palamedes. I feel like the two of them would actually make a pretty good duo, a good team actually. So, and I kind of considered that while I was making this list, can these characters work together? My Warband list, I love it dearly. I don't know how long that alliance, that very fragile alliance, would last for. But with this one, I tried to think about how long this crew would stay together on the Halcyon during our interstellar escapades. She has telekinetic. It's a bit of telekinesis, but also just straight up psychic powers, where she can just move things with her mind, but in a much more heavy metal, just absolute for the battlefield way. So I feel like not only would she make a good spy, but if she got her compromised, she would be able to fight her way out. And wouldn't need much rescuing. However, we wouldn't leave any of our crew behind, so the Halcyon would be there to pick her up. But I like the idea of sending in a spy that's capable of digging their way out of the trenches if necessary. Moving along, number 7, Sharpshooter. This one was tough because I know lots of good soldiers in sci-fi, not necessarily good sharpshooters, and so I had to double up here, even though I know we're not really supposed to do this in the Warband tag, but I did it one time actually, that's not true, I did it twice on this list, and I picked Pierre Devey from the Locked Tomb series. I will not talk about spoilers, and I will not talk about which book this character is from, so I'll just put up art, and you can kind of, if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know. This character is a excellent marksman, sharpshooter, can shoot things nearly blindfolded, and is very well versed in leading large members of an investigation team as well as a police force. We'll say task force, and it's the character I would want behind the lines, taking pot shots at extreme accuracy, and that's all I'm going to say about Pierre Devey. I love this character dearly, and I really wish I could talk about them, but I really don't want to give any spoilers away for Locked Tomb, as I think part of the experience of that book is the surprises you learn along the way. But Pierre would make an excellent sharpshooter, among many other things, and also would bring a little bit of lightheartedness to the party with her jokes and wise cracks, and extensive knowledge of interpersonal relationships as well. I'd actually like to see which character Pierre Devey would flirt with in this fire team. Probably all of them. Number 8, we have the AI companion. This one was tough because a lot of sci-fi AI comes from video games and films for me, and I was trying to rack my brain on my favorite sci-fi AI characters and books. I kept coming back to Brethren from the Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio. Now, I will not talk about spoilers again, same as the last one, but this character is massive bioorganic AI unit that we would have to have a special tank for in the Halcyon in order for him to function properly and fit, I would say. But their knowledge of the wider world and tactics and being able to hack into systems and just hack into people's minds would be an asset that I would absolutely want on the Halcyon, and we would just have to have lots of protective shielding from inside and out for that character, unfortunately. But I think the risk is well worth the reward. I would say a hazardous companion, but the banter with all the other characters would be priceless too. Number 9, we have the Diplomat, and I picked Mahit Desmar from Memory Called Empire by Arcady Martin. I love this character so much. I hope that this book gets turned into a show or a movie, because I would love to see my head cast come to life. I think that'd be brilliant. I think Janina Gavankar was one of my leading actors in my mind that would play that character really well. But we'll see. She's very capable of being a stranger in a strange land and walking into either a foreign country or a foreign union and being able to kind of communicate properly for us, but also learn from them and kind of adopt their the parts of speech and their ways of thinking and be able to function is a really good asset that doesn't come off as closed-minded and very open to new things, as well as learning new cultures. And I feel like that is the perfect character you want for your diplomat. That doesn't, because she's intimidating and she has her own AI companion that I almost put as the AI companion, but they kind of come together. So I won't say much more about that, but I think she's an excellent asset to have on the field and would work really well with my Councilor. He is probably one of my favorite characters in sci-fi. There's so much to love about her. She's extremely flawed and a little silly at times, and she has her own needs that make her feel extremely human. But I feel like her ability to walk into any culture or any group of people foreign to herself and be able to adopt their ways and learn from them, but also not try to offend them in any way. That's the kind of character I want to be sent into the boardrooms and to be doing all my politics in the back alley deals and to deal with corruption, because we will no doubt run into that as we cruise across the galaxy. And the bonus prompt is number 10, Emissary. I wanted a character that would come before the Halcyon that we could send out. Would also be a leader in a sense, but a character that would represent us as a crew, as a fire team. And I thought Lady Jessica from Dune by Frank Herbert would be the ideal character to send out before us to kind of pave the way, clear the way really, and really let people know what they're getting into and who's on their way. Just her prowess and her abilities and her ability to take what she's learned from the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood and know what is still right from wrong and still try to come out on top and do the right thing. That's kind of the character I want in the emissary role, because they represent us as a crew, but also are fully capable of taking care of anybody that gets in our way or tries to deny us access as we move from planet to planet, making interstellar deals, galactic deals, and trades, as well as building our fire team out from there. And that's it. That's my fire team. So let me know what you thought. If any of these characters stuck out to you, what's on your fire team? Really, that's what I want to know. And I can't wait to hear the people I tagged in this. If they decide to do it, I'd love to hear who's on your fire team. I had a lot of fun making this video and coming up with these ideas. It was actually harder than I thought it was going to be. Like, the idea came to me right away, but then filling the roles, I was like, I have a lot of choices to make here. There's a lot of characters I could pick in this list. So really enjoyed doing it. Hope you guys liked it too. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay wicked.